Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mason County, right? It's April 25th. It's 9 a.m. This is our regular meeting. I'm going to go ahead and call it to order. And I've asked Mike to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike. So, before I ask for a roll call, Mackenzie told me that her ears are plugged. So, I borrowed this little guy, so that if she doesn't hear me, I'm gonna shoot her.
I thought I was going to put them in the air. I was like, check you out.
So, Mackenzie, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte. Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here. Let's move on to item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Is there any correspondence?
The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in the following. Notice of cannabis license application received from Black Sushi Cannabis, and notice of liquor license application received from the Belfair Chevron. And Brad Carlberg sent in an advisory application for the Planning Advisory Commission.
Great, thank you. All right, let's move on to item number 5. This is the time we set aside for citizen input. If there are any items that are not on the agenda, or if you have topics that are not on the agenda, we ask that you go ahead, raise your hand, state your name, where you're from. I'll call on you. We have a 15-minute max and a, thank you, and a, and a 3-minute per person time limit. So first I'll look in the room. Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the commission? All right, seeing none, let's go to the Zoom room. And I see Ken. Ken, please state your name and where you're from.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ken Van Buskirk from Belfair. And I'll try to hold it to 3 minutes. I watched the briefing yesterday and wanted to offer some comments on the Salmon Center's plans and the county's involvement. I'm concerned about the lack of transparency and the community involvement with this project. The Thellers left quite a legacy to the community, and they asked the school board to be stewards of that gift, not the Salmon Enhancement Group or the WDFW. My mother-in-law was one of the few who commented on the original 1980 environmental impact statement, in which that freshwater pond was identified in that EIS as a stormwater settlement pond. I'm surprised I didn't see any references to permitting, or even a supplemental environmental impact statement in the presentation yesterday. My mother-in-law also knew what was going on in the community, and she asked me to be involved with the Theller Board and the school board back in the early 2000s. I served on the Theller Board with Commissioner Netherland when the Salmon Center representatives on that board tried to surplus the property to themselves. Both Randy and I both voted nay to that, and the Theller Board was consequently dismissed. The property was again attempted to be surplus to the Mason Transit Authority back in 2013, when I discovered and shared the 1950 Mary Theller will, which is the guiding document. I've fallen hazard trees on that trail. I've worked with Eagle Scouts, resurfacing and filling in sinkholes. I've helped Sea Scouts move abandoned boats. My wife and I logged hundreds of miles on that trail, training for marathons. She and I discovered the small holes in the dike during Christmas time of 2012. The school board spent a lot of money paid to a local engineer on a fix that never materialized. Ironically, the same year, 3 of the school board members cut a ribbon on a new section of the trail 200 yards from where this breach is. The Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group installed 2 one-way flow valves on their 2012 project and barely very easily could have come down and put a new one-way valve on that breach in the freshwater pond. When Ms. Harlow went to the Tip Cap Committee in 2019, I attended and sent an email to Commissioner Schutte, Loretta Swanson, and Tim Whitehead asking for an investigation. I will forward that 2019 email to you all again so that you can review it. And I'd like to discuss it with you before you budget anything for raising Roselle Road. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ken. And look forward to that email, thank you.
Yep.
All right, do we have anyone else? Not seeing anyone, we will move on to item number 6, adoption of agenda.
Madam Chair, I move for adoption of the agenda as presented today.
And I will second that. So we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Move on to item number 7.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the April 10th, 2023 briefing minutes, April 11th, 2023 Finance Committee meeting minutes, and the April 11th regular minutes as presented.
And I will second that. So we do have a motion and a second to approve the April 10th, 2023 briefing minutes, the April 11th, 2023 Finance Committee minutes, and April 11th regular minutes. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, let's move on to item number 8, approval of the action agenda. This is the time that commissioners will read through the items on the action agenda. Items can be removed for discussion or a separate vote. Commissioner, if you would take items 8.1 through 8.10, I'll take 11 through 19.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, item number 8.1 reads approval of warrants and treasurer's electronics remittance claims clearing fund. Warrants number 8095293 through 8095796. The amount is $1,215,254.18. Direct deposit fund. Warrants number 95611 through 96011. The amount $833,610.21. Salary Clearing Fund, warrants number 7007288 through 7007322. The amount $1,108,255.80. Treasurer's electronic remittance is $176,074.61. Item number 8.2 reads approval to increase the 2023 Hood Canal Coordinating Council HCCC dues in the budget from $2,500 to $10,000 and increased in expenditures of $7,500 in the general fund. Item number 8.3 approval of the Crossroads Housing Eviction Rent Assistance Program ERAP 2.0 amendment for an additional $165,000. Item number 8.4 approval to delegate signature authority to the Public Works Director to submit reports or documents for the county permitted wastewater facilities. Approval, item number 8.5, approval to support the National Center for Public Lands Counties in the amount of $7,957 from the general fund. Item number 8.6, approval to reallocate American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds awarded to the Mason County Treasurer from the personal property tax to real property tax in the amount of $49,932 to give the treasurer a total amount of $66,952 to help prevent foreclosures to individual households. Item number 8.7, approval for the Community Lifeline American Rescue Plan Act ARPA contract amendment to change the effective date and term to December 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2023, and to add detailed requirements to the COVID-19 expenditure report regarding necessary information on spending reports and breakdowns. Item number 8.8, approval to award the fiber upgrade bid to Hood Canal Communications, HCC, and to enter into the contract for the amount of $304,018. SEF NCO's bid was the apparent low bid, but was not responsive because their scope of the work was inadequate, and they did not include costs for the total scope of services in the bid specifications. Item number 8.9, approval of the 2022 oath of inventory pursuant to RCW 36.32.210 and Mason County's Code, Chapter 3.56. Item number 8.10, approval for the county engineer to advertise set, bid, date, time, and award contract for the Satsup Qualum Culvert Structure Replacement Project at milepost 5.20 for the chair to sign all pertinent documents and approval for the road closure from August 21st, 2023 to August 25th, 2023 to complete project with county forces.
Item 8.11, approval for the county administrator to sign the temporary easement agreement granting public utility district number 1 and easement on county-owned parcel number 42118-24-00130 at 4091 West Skokomish Valley Road for installing, operating, and maintaining power, water, and communication utilities. Item 8.12, approval to appoint Brad Carlberg to the Planning Advisory Commission for a 4-year term expiring April 25th, 2027. Item 8.13, approval to revise the November 23rd, 2023 action agenda item 8.12 to include the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Mason County Sheriff's Office of up to $40,000 for the purchase and install of in-camera vehicle cameras, or install of, my goodness, getting ahead of myself, in-vehicle cameras, and the purchase of body cameras for the years 2021 through 2024. Item 8.14, approval for the repair work order referenced ID number ACIA 22VLU 42 with TK Elevator Corporation for repairs to the courthouse elevator in the amount of $148,100.85 to be paid with real estate tax REIT 1. Approval to, with item 8.15, we're doing the same thing. Approval to withdraw the 2 Washington Wildlife and Recreation Programs grant requests for 22-1388 Union Park and 22-1410 Sand Hill Park multi-purpose field, and to not accept the Youth Athletic Facilities Program Grant 22-1387 request for $350,000 with a $4,750,000 match. Item 8.16, approval for Public Works to advertise a request for proposals for solid waste long-haul transportation and disposal and set a public hearing for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 at 9:15 for review and consideration of submitted responses to the request and potentially award contract. Item 8.17, approval for the chair to sign the contract amendments with the Department of Commerce and Community Action Council for additional housing and essential needs funds in the amount of $52,000. Item 8.18, approval for the Public Health and Human Services Director to sign a letter of intent to apply for overdose data to action grant funding. Item 8.19, approval for the Public Health and Human Services Director to sign the memorandum of understanding with the Pierce County AIDS Foundation to promote health communities and improve HIV, STI, and PrEP service awareness and education. Having read through that entire list, are there any items you would like to have removed for separate discussion or vote?
I have a question on one first to help me decide.
Okay.
Mark, item number 8.4. Approval to delegate signature authority to the Public Works Director to submit reports or documents for county permitted wastewater facilities, just to make sure we're staying in the realm of what authorities that they should have. This has nothing to do with taking assigning property or paying anything that's not already approved by the commission. This is only for the submittal of documents for the facility to keep it up to code and in compliance with the college and everybody else.
That's correct.
Okay. Then I'm good.
All right. I would like to take item 8.8 and amend that motion so it should read approval to award the fiber upgrade bid to Hood Canal Communications and to enter into contract in the amount of $304,018 plus sales tax.
No?
And I believe that's the only thing that I have.
Commissioners, item 8.13, that should read November November 23rd, 2021.
I was gonna ask about that, thank you. 2021, 8.13.
Just for last, I think we should read those back in.
Okay,
I'll go
All right.
ahead. Item number 8.8 would read approval to award fiber optic upgrade bid to Hood Canal Communications, ACCC, and to enter into contract for the amount of $304,018 plus sales tax. And item number 8.13, approval to revise the November 23rd, 2021 agenda action item 8.12 to include the use of American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds for the Mason County Sheriff's Office of up to $40,000 for the purchase and install of in-car vehicle cameras and the purchase of body cameras for the years 2021 through 2024.
great. All right, do we have any items, anyone in the room or the Zoom room would like, are there any items that they would like to have removed for separate discussion or vote?
I don't want to have anything removed for a separate vote, but I did want to ask about 8.15 to withdraw the two, it looks like you got the grant, but you don't want to approve it. I was just curious why.
Actually, I'll comment on that I actually have it marked out to comment because I thought some others might have questions on that as well.
So we'll comment on it as soon as we're, ready to move forward. All right, anything else? All right,
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the action agenda as presented and as read to the public with the changes we just included.
all right, and I will second that. So we have a motion and a second to approve the action agenda as presented and as read in, for approval.
Into the record, yeah?
Yep, that,
And then I have comment.
okay.
Okay, item number
1.5.
8.15, as we read to the record here, approval withdrawal from two Washington Wildlife and Recreation Program grant requests. The reason why is when we went after the grant requests, we went after a lot more money. So they were able to allow us a small amount, but when you're talking about a project that they would give you $350,000 on, where the project is 4.755 million, we can't afford to do the rest of it. So with that, although they were kind enough to give us a little bit that maybe would help in design, they didn't actually even do it for design, they did it for construction, and we couldn't accept that unless we were gonna be able to do the rest of it, and the county is not prepared to be able to do it for that. And the other one is a large request also, but doesn't have it down there. But they're both very large requests that the county could not afford to purchase and pay for those parks at this time.
Right, and just to add to that, I think the county wants to really be cautious moving forward as we go into harder times. And we want to make sure that we're not overextending what we can, or what we have the choice to.
And we have a specific fund, the REIT funds, real estate excise tax, that where parks construction comes out of. And as you may already know, I think we looked at a 36 to 38%, depending on which REIT you were talking about, reduction already this year. That's a lot.
Alrighty, anything else, Commissioner? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you all so much.
And thank you for the question.
Yes, yeah, love those, love clarifying questions. All right, let's move on to item number 9. This is the time we set aside for department heads or elected officials to come before the commission and the public to discuss anything. Do we have anyone that wants to discuss something? If you would go to the podium, state your name and who you're with, please.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners. So, Dave Wyndham, Mason County Public Health and Human Services. And spring has been slow getting here, but it is getting here finally. And with that, we're seeing an uptick in ticks. So, an uptick in ticks. Yeah. So, I just wanted to pass along that the ticks are out as it gets warmer and drier. There are more and more ticks. So we're asking people to check themselves, check their pets. If you have questions, we do have it on our website. It's also on the DOH website. And by the end of the day, it'll be on our Facebook page as well on how to look for ticks, and then if you find a tick, what to do about it. So that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Do we have anyone else in the room that would like to say anything to the public or the commission? Anyone in the Zoom room? All right. And it is 9:22, so we can move ahead to item number 10, public hearing. This is a public hearing to approve and adopt the amendment to the development area zoning map rezoning parcels 22-129-34-90004 and 22129-34-90003 and 22129-34-90002 from rural residential 5 to rural commercial 2. And ask staff to come forward and present.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marissa Watson with the Planning Department. Today's rezone request is from the applicant Alfred W. Jones, or Fred Jones, and the owners is Alfred and Deborah Jones. Fred Jones submitted a complete application on January 25th and to our Permit Assistance Center along with the fees. The request is to rezone 3 parcels, parcel 2212934900004 and 90003 and 90002 from rural residential 5 to rural commercial 2. You'll see those on the map there. The property above in the orange color is also the Jones property, approximately 8 acres, and that's rural commercial 2, and he does currently have a self-storage facility on there. If the request is approved, the applicant will have to go through a special use permitting process, and the intention with those 3 parcels to the south is to expand the self-storage business. So the request was reviewed against the Mason County Code Section 17.05.080A, and those contain the 8 rezone criteria that we evaluate these requests by. The 8th criteria not applying in this case. Staff reviewed those 8 criteria and found the request to meet those criteria. Those particular parcels are bordered on the south by a private road, so there's a buffer between residential and recreational properties to the south. And then to the west, or sorry, the east, there's the wetland next to one of the parcels, and of course we have a county road on the west. Then the PAC, the Planning Advisory Commission, heard this case at their a public hearing, and they unanimously recommended the request onto the BOCC for review. So a SEPA checklist was prepared for the project, and the department made a determination of non-significance.
It's contagious.
I can't talk today, yeah. Made that on February 1st, and then the comment period closed on February 16th. And we got comments from PUD3 and the Department of Ecology, which were just their general comments that they usually send out. And then I didn't receive any comments from the public on the request. All the neighbors within 300 feet of the parcels were notified by mail on February 8th. We had it posted in the Mason Shelton Journal on February 16th and the 23rd for the planning advisory meeting. And then it was also posted in that journal as well for this meeting and on the agenda on the Mason County website. So, as I mentioned, we haven't received any public comment on the request, and staff and the PAC are recommending that the BOCC review the request, consider the staff report and public testimony, and approve the applicant proposal to rezone the 3 parcels, 2212934900004, 2212934900003, and 2212934900002 from rural residential 5 to rural commercial 2. That is all I have for that.
All right, great, thank you. Commissioner, any questions for staff?
Yes, so you're saying, I just need to double check that we for sure are not having any, have not had any comments from the neighbors there. Do we know where they will be having the access on these properties for the storage units? I'm just curious because we may have to, just for the applicants, I want to make clear, I'm not asking this question for whether I would agree to this or disagree with this, because we do not make decisions, we should not ever make decisions based on the project, because when you change the zoning, you don't have to stick to whatever that project is. I'm asking because I'm gonna have to take phone calls from citizens and be able to express myself based on that. Has there been discussions of where the access points will be? Will they be coming off of the private road or?
The most southern part of the parcels that are already rezoned to rural commercial 2, he has access through there. It may be extending through there. I might have to have the applicant answer to that though.
That's okay. If you don't know, just from your side, it's gonna be good enough, because I don't wanna ask that applicant that question.
You can ask.
No, it's all right. Well, if you don't mind, you can tell me afterwards though, but, go ahead. That's the only question I had.
Okay, all right. All right, do we have any questions for staff from anyone in the room? Marissa, can you go to the next map? The one that's the,
Yep.
I think that's an interesting map for people to see also. Thank you. All right, anyone in the Zoom room? Have any questions for staff? All right,
How come I only see one picture?
it's the.
She's
screen.
presenting.
Yeah, it's on the last speaker.
I
But-
know. Can we see if somebody else is
Did you
raising their
put
hand, I
Thomas
guess
here?
is the question.
I believe if they raise their hand, then it
Then they
would,
do
We'll
pop
put them
up.
forward?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can go check.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Dietrich, I just confirmed with Dietrich, so we're good to go.
okay.
Putting you on the spot. Thanks. All right. Now, thank you. Now we'll move into public comment and testimony. I will, if you raise your hand, I will call on you. Please come to the podium or unmute yourself and state your name and where you're from. Anyone like to comment or testify? You can do that if you want. All right. All right, let's move on to Commissioner deliberation or a motion.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move for the approval to adopt the amendment to the development area zoning map, rezoning parcels number 22129-34-90004 and 22129-34-90003 and 22129-34-9002 from rural residential 5 RR5 to rural commercial 2 RC2.
All right, and I will second that. Do we have discussion?
Just a comment, the reason why you're contiguous, your property's contiguous to what you're already doing. I was on the planning commission and served as chair and stuff, I was there for 6 years, and this is the perfect reason for doing it. When it is contiguous like that, we want to allow people to be able to use their property the best they can. What we try to avoid is the spot zone. If you didn't have something that was just like it next to it, tried to put it somewhere, then I'd probably stand against it, because we could also be sued for spot zoning and stuff like that. I'm just curious where it's coming through so I can field the calls later. But I definitely think it's a good idea. I think it's a good use of your property and being able to expand and use your services. Obviously, the community will decide whether it's valid or not, because they'll fill up or they won't. So I definitely have no issue with it. Other than that, that's no reason for my question, but you did everything right, and thank you for all your work on that.
Yeah, I'll just ditto his remarks. I think I've been out there several times to your storage units, and so it just makes sense to me, and that's why I asked Marissa to show the other map, because that does show that it fits. Basically, I was not on the commission or the planning commission, but you can just look at that and say it fits. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait. No, I'm not going to read it again, because that's
Oh.
a mouthful. So I'm gonna call on the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so hearing none, motion passes. And I wanna thank you guys for coming in and being here in case there were any questions. So appreciate you coming in. And it's such a beautiful gray day compared to yesterday. All right, let's move on to item number 11, board calendars and reports. Would you please go first?
Okay, definitely had a meeting of the Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority. I went and did a visit with the old North Mason Resources and Crossroads up in North Mason. They're doing a wonderful job up there. Accidentally ended up in a meeting with Rotary up in North Mason, and they had a different discussion on the things that are going on in the community, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm probably gonna become a member. I'm just, so I need more. North Mason Community Voice had a very special event up in North Mason to talk about our power grid, what to do with the dangers that they're facing these days, and how to handle it as a citizen if something does happen. And from that thing, I was asked to give a presentation regarding some of the individual things you can do as an individual, such as, simply enough, your refrigerator, if you don't open it, of course, it'll last a long time, but you should always plan on 2 weeks. If you have one of those little tiny power packs that you use as a jumper box, they usually have a 400-watt inverter on it. If you buy with that, you can plug in your refrigerator and just put it in for an hour, and all you have to do is go out to your car, plug it back onto your car, and it'll charge it. But it'll also charge your phones and do a lot of other things. But the thing that you always have to be reminded of, we have great people that will come to help you and will be there for you. But the worst things are, the longer it'll take before anybody can get to you. So we've seen it in 2007, we've seen it in other times where they've been blocked off for 2 weeks. Always plan on 2 weeks. Have enough food for 2 weeks. Have enough medication, just put it aside for 2 weeks. If you're ever being flooded, one of the funniest things to always remember is your dishwasher is watertight. You can throw everything you need inside there, close the door and leave. A hot water tank holds water for emergency services as well. Fill up your bathtub if you know something is coming. Another simple rule is 1 teaspoon of bleach can purify 1 gallon, or 1/4 teaspoon of bleach can purify 1 gallon of water. So just keep that in mind for emergencies so that you'll always be okay, and store things up and protect yourself for 2 weeks till others can come and help you. That was a great event. Thank you, North Mason Community Voice. I performed a wedding up on the top of Mount Rainier. That was interesting. Mason Transit Authority meeting, we were all at that. North Mason Chamber of Commerce meeting. Met with different local businesses. There's some different things that are going on in our region right now. Trying to keep them from closing down. Things are changing in our community, guys. Mason County Housing Authority meeting, Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization meeting, Foothills Dog Park. On behalf of the commission, I went and attended that. It was so fun watching all those dogs and looking at them all play. I just wish I could have that kind of fun, just for one day. Let's see, we had a kickoff, a political kickoff here in Shelton. We had our briefings and executive sessions. After this, I have a Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization meeting, North Mason Chamber of Commerce coming up, a fundraiser for some events up in Mason County at the Rainier Baseball. So if you're going to be there, we may be there together. Cemetery Board meeting, Shoreline Master Plan meeting, Sheriff's Breakfast. I think you will be attending that. I will also. So gave me the invite. The Law Enforcement Firefighters Board, Orca Finance Committee. I'll bring us back to briefings and we do it all over again, and I'm sure there'll be other things that are not on that list.
Exactly. All right, thank you. So today I get to the Arc of the Peninsula. They're having mock interviews over at Choice High School. And so I get to be an interviewer. I'm super excited about that. Tonight is the spotlight on Shelton at the Civic Center, 6 p.m. Encourage everyone to come and attend that, find out what's going on, what their plans are. It should be fun. Tomorrow is Administrative Assistant Day, so thank your administrative assistants for their help. Don't shoot them with balls unless they ask for it. We have a SWAC meeting in the morning, Turning Point Board meeting, Community Action Council meeting, Public Works Executive Committee meeting. The Republican Women's Tea Party is having a tea party and a model show, so I'll be going to that planning meeting. Pack Mountain Board budget meeting. What's that? Sheriff's Breakfast. I'll be there as well. Public Works Traditional Committee meeting, Wasac Legislative Wrap-Up, so you'll probably be at that as well. Going to my grandson's play, it's the Newsies, and he gets to play the bad guy, so he's pretty excited about that. Turning Point is having a work party, if anybody's interested, on Saturday, 10 o'clock. Show up with your gloves.
What do they do?
Cleaning up the outside. Whatever they tell me to do.
I may be there for that too.
Okay, all right. And then we're back on Monday for our briefing. Wasac Virtual Assembly, those will probably slow down now that, session is over. They may or may not, because we use those as roundtables, and it's pretty interesting because we get to talk, all the commissioners and council members get to talk to each other. That's also when county administrators, directors from different departments, they can all attend this. We have a roundtable sometimes, and it's interesting to hear people having the same issues that we have, and then we can all brainstorm and try to come up with solutions, so it's pretty cool. The EDC, holding that afternoon for them. EDC Legislative, probably wrap-up meeting on that one. Memorial Hall meeting. Republican Women's meeting. And then I head to Spokane for a Public Works Board retreat and meeting on Thursday and Friday. And then there is a chili cook-off on Saturday the 6th. Super excited. I'm bringing something. Bring your appetite. Then we're back for our briefings, Wasac Virtual Assembly, and then our commission meeting, and then the various things that always pop up that we don't remember.
Are you going to be at the Humane Society event?
No, that's the night of my grandson's play.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be there?
Well,
Maybe.
normally they ask me, because I've been the MC for all these years, but she just asked me late night. As you know, I arranged for the thing with my daughter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know, I may
Oh,
come
yeah.
all the way back from there
Your
and
daughter's a little important.
still drive up and make it. I'll give them a call so they have somebody there.
All right.
I was hoping you were going to say, yeah, I'll be there. I didn't have to worry.
All right. Well, do you have something for us?
I do, and I apologize because I'm out of order, and I should have remembered it during comments
You were in so much
for
trouble. I'm
directors
gonna
and
shoot you with-
administrators, yes. Luckily, it won't, you probably aren't very accurate from there. But I do think that we should, the commission should write a thank you letter to our legislators.
I was just thinking the same.
Absolutely.
So we received a little over $1 million to study our jail expansion options, as well as through a lot of hard work of many of you and our state legislators, we actually received funding in the transportation budget for the SR3 freight corridor, as well as the SR3 Gorst area widening project. So those projects are moving forward full force in the next biennium for the State Route 3 for the Belfair bypass is what we refer to it as, 35.5 million. So that's great. And then following biennium 26.2 and then 12. So just about $80 million for that Belfair bypass. And the Gorst area widening project includes $16 million in the current biennium, $27 million in the 25-27, and $31.3 in the 27-29. So quite a bit of state dollars being dedicated to our area, and really appreciate the help.
Are you going to write the letter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bring it to us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and a big thank you to our lobbyist for
Deborah Mungia.
Yeah, Deborah worked really hard, and so did our legislators. A lot of people worked hard on making sure that Mason County in the 35th was well taken care of, and they did a great job this year. I'm so thankful for everything that everyone has done, and I think it would be kind of nice. Maybe we should post that on our website.
You know, Representative Couture said that something along the lines of she basically moved into his office. She was there the whole time for everything.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
Well, and there's a lot of individual effort from our commissioners also, so thank you for reaching out and talking to individuals that are important in making these decisions and getting those concerns heard. And I think that it was heard, and I think that they are prioritizing this project, and we should see some considerable movement over the next few years.
I think so too. I think so. All right, anything else?
No,
Are you sure?
no.
Keep it for next time. All right,
Madam Chair, I move for adjournment.
we are adjourned.
Can we
Good to
just
see you.
casually officiate a wedding on Mount Rainier?